Now, hopefully, we're live. And I can see the live feed. Oh, well, actually, I can kind of see the chat. Greetings, boys and gits. Right, so this evening, I'm just doing a little bit of painting, so I thought I might as well do a live stream and let you guys join me while I'm racing to get this Warboss done for the challenge that me and the other Warbosses have rolling, which is to build and convert and paint a character. So I needed a Warboss for my my Rough Rider. So I've got a bunch of gits, 12 boys with a truck. Oh, actually, I say 12 boys. We've had to reduce them down, haven't we? So now we've got 9 boys and a knob. So there's actually room in the truck. So I was thinking, when I'm 1500 point list, I can't really include the Warboss because it's primarily a tracked list, sorry. So everything's tanks and formed around tanks. So the boys are just a sort of additional unit. But when I knock it up to 2000 points, hello Gitman, hello Tom, we are looking at bumping it up a little bit. So I thought, well, you know, I'll add the sprinkle of a Warboss with Tack Squig into the mix. So I've got a 2000 point game coming up against a friend. So I wanted to get this done for that. And obviously having this challenge with the boys where we had to build a character. I thought, yeah, well, crack on. I'll build my Warboss and Squig. So I decided to base them separately because I wanted to use a large Squig. I did originally have space on the base for a boss, but that's not going to be barren space. If you bear with me and avoid the wobbly table, there should be somewhere a little grot. Oh, where is he? Oh, there he is. There he is. Hang on. Let's try not to break anything. No, that's not him. Oh, bugger. Where has he gone? Well, you'll have to trust me. Where's he gone? Sod it. Okay, well, there's a little grot with an ammo crate that I'm going to stick on here. It's basically the one that you get with, I think, the knobs, but I've changed the head and I've changed the crate actually that he's dragging, so made it a bit cooler. So that will still work along the base of here. In fact, it takes up quite a bit of space. So yeah, his base will be taken up with a bit more stuff going on. But yeah, just want to get some more paint on him. I've already done a bit of the metals and I already did chuck on some where was that? I chucked over my Zenithal, spray can Zenithal, shall I say. The spray can, oh, there you go. That's what it looked like when I spray canned it, because that one I haven't touched, besides putting some decayed metal, which is a scale colour. I love decayed metal. It's brilliant as a base for any of your brass or copper or anything like that. Really good base for it. So yeah, that's the only thing that I've done on that besides rattle canning. So I just sort of went with a brown and then went with a lighter brown and then with sort of a sand colour. It's not brilliant. It's all I can manage at the moment because I haven't got the airbrush handy. So, you know, it had to do. So it's a bit patchy. It's not brilliant. But over the top of that, for that jacket, all I used was, where is it now? I got Agaraus Dunes. Stupid name. But yeah, Sandy Dunes. And it sort of looks pretty cool. So I'm not, I might add to that. I'm not sure yet. It's already got a very sort of like leatherette sort of texture to it, which is pretty cool. As long as I don't have that over the rest of the model, it will look quite unique in that patch. So I'm just going to see how it goes with the rest of it. As far as the silver goes, I have a trilogy of silvers that I always use. They are and gunmetal, chainmail silver, and silver. So I have used these two so far in. Hello, William. That's old Bill. I have used these two so far in just doing the undertones of the metal and the higher tones of the metal, but I haven't gone around with a mix of the chainmail silver and the silver yet, or just the silver for any of the edges, because I often find that as I'm painting and as I'm touching a miniature and stuff, it rubs away. So I leave those final bits till a bit later on now, because otherwise I end up going over and doing them so many times that I just get so fed up, and it don't look as good the third time you've done it. So I'm probably going to leave alone those metals that I needed to do on that. But there is, on the boots, done the front parts of these sort of metal, what do you call it, sort of shin defenders. Yeah, basically they are, isn't it? Shin guards. But I haven't done the backs, so I need to do the backs of those. And then really I want to leave metals alone, so I just want to touch up the last couple of bits that are chunky metals. Things like the earring, I'll leave that till much later. So I'm just doing the chunk metal bits, and then I can move on to doing the skin, which is what you all came for really, is getting some orc skin on him, and also deciding where the colour's going to go. Now I already know I'm going to go for, this is a speed boss, he's part of the Rough Riders, so they like a lot of red, and he's already got leatherish going on, so he's going to have a red hat. I'm not sure yet whether the shirt that sort of protrudes from under his jacket there and there, and obviously he's wearing underneath, whether that should be red as well, or whether I should go for a bit of red on the claw and the gun and make the shirt white or yellow or green or something else. So I'm not sure yet. Suggestions in the comments, quite welcome to help me decide. But I think once we've got the red on the helmet, that might actually help us decide. So I might actually just dive right onto that, because sod it, why not? Yeah, unfortunately, Squig is almost, he's not anywhere near done, but he's coming along. It's mad how just from that Xenophil, that is just adding the contrast red, the Blood Angels one. Blood Angels red. I think it was that one. Yeah, there's two, isn't there? One of them's good, one of them's shit. I think it was that one that's good. Can't remember. I think it was. But anyway, put it over, and it turned out pretty darn decent. It's got the built-in shading from the Xenophil, but I still do want to obviously go in and highlight. I've only put one coat of sort of yellow in the eyes. It needs a bit tidying up too. Touched some of the teeth with some bone, but nothing too crazy yet, and just some base metals. So there is a bit of tonage on the exhaust pipe silvers, as you can probably make out in this light. Not brilliant, but it's all right. It's starting to get there, but there's a lot more yet to do. So it's not like I'm cheating. In fact, I've got to get this done. We've literally got a deadline of this weekend, so I've got to get this done. So let's put them aside and let's get on with the red on that, because right, reds I use. Ferrari red, that's the main base red, and then the bloody red just really for highlight. But what I find is that this is really good, this Ferrari red. I just love it, and it's so easy to get good tonage if you're putting it over something that's already Xenophil anyway. You watch, it's magic. Actually, I better pick myself a decent brush first, because we're not doing metals, we're doing decent colour, so we want a decent brush. So I've got my brush pot, just going to find one in there, because I've got all sorts in there. Some crap in there, and then there's some like Winsor & Newtons in there too, so it's a right old mix up. So let's find something half decent. Quite like that one, that'll do. We have opted for, oh, it is a Winsor & Newton, but it's not a Series 7, it's just a Galleria 0. Yeah. But it's got a decent enough tip, so I'll have that. All right, dip it in the old water, eh? Give it a shake. Right, right, so what? Oh, yeah. Trouble is your comments disappear as soon as they pop up. So I did see that there was something there from the Gitman. Al and Tom. Red, barrel red. Yeah, but see, I'm not using strictly GW. I mean, I do like some GW paints. Don't get me wrong; they do some good ones. This Ferrari red is the Model Air one, so it's already finned. So I don't really need to fin it. What I tend to do is just wet my brush, just a wee. Oh, let's move that back, just a wee bit, and I just add some water onto the paper there. This is that palette paper. I mean, I would use a wet palette ordinarily, but A, it needs cleaning and setting up, and B, it would have been a right kerfuffle showing you guys. Plus, to be fair, this is a much more accessible way for most other people to paint anyway, so so that's already fairly thin, but we'll get some of that water just to wet the brush. decent. Right, let's have a look. See if we can do this on camera and see what we're doing at the same time. Right, so because it is, like I say, a Model Air paint, it's quite thin, so it will possibly want a second coat. Quite often does, especially when you're thinning it slightly. And I do tend to go quite bright to start with because I knock my colours right back. I do quite a bit of dirtying down later on, so I find that with my colours I need them to be bright, otherwise they're just not going to show when I dirty them down. Right. With a camera in the way, this is a mobile in the way, this is quite awkward. Yeah, well, it's much easier to show how to paint, obviously, when let's see. Oh, see, this is the trouble. Can't see what you're doing. I've just splashed red where I don't want it, and I need to quickly relieve that off of there, otherwise it's going to sit on there. Annoying. There you go. So if you ever spill a bit of paint, just get a wet brush quickly and just rescue that off. Sorted. Yeah, that's the annoying thing when you can't really see what you're doing over I'm looking over the top of a phone. So yeah, forgive me for being a little bit sloppy. But yeah, it was so much easier, obviously, when I had the dread desk in my last place to do any kind of episodes, really. But the whole purpose of my current situation is to be able to build myself up in a way that I'm not paying out everything to landlords, so I can actually finally afford something of my own. And then, boys and gits, I certainly will have a nice setup for recording and whatnot, because that would be one of my priorities. Right, now that is very runny, so I really have got to watch I don't get it on his ear. There we are. Get a little bit more in there. On that rim. Beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad you guys can't hear what I'm having apart with. There's somebody, I think, pulling pallets apart outside. I think because all the businesses are closed, someone's coming down here and just breaking pallets to take home for firewood. Because, you know, cost of living crisis. It's making a god awful noise out there. Right, I think that's at least a coat on the helmet anyway. So yeah, it's going to obviously have chip in and blah blah blah, but it's already taking a bit of shade, see, bit of emphasis. Right, so would he go with a red shirt or would he go with a red gun and claw? Also tired as to what to do the skull. I'm glad I can't smell your dog's farts as well, Tom, to be fair. Ah, well, yes, yes, Keith. It is a bit of a surprise to get a notification from Dred's channel, isn't it? It's been a while, and I actually sort of did it as a partly to test to see if it would even come up, because me and the guys have been talking about how just lately, like if Scar does something, it doesn't show up, and our own Warboss channel stuff doesn't. I'm going to do some red on that gun. I've decided our own Warboss channel doesn't show up half the time either, on my own personal feed or Steve-O's. So yeah, there's definitely something going on with the YouTube. Doesn't always show. I've got to be careful I don't go on to the what I want to be rope there. So oh, you guys can't see shit. Sorry. It doesn't matter if I splash down in them gaps, but if I can avoid going down there, I will. Because I'd rather keep it dark down in there. Now, oh, see, no, it didn't splash. I thought I splashed, didn't splash. Yeah, it's more red on there, yeah. And then I think maybe on the claw a little bit. I don't think all of that's going to be remain metal anyway. I was thinking that when I painted this particular part, because it's not an actual opening part of the claw, that bit, there's another bit on the bottom that's the same. I'm thinking, well, I painted metal for now. I might paint it with some color later, and then I can, well, before I do, I can add some chipping fluid, so I can chip it back to that metal. So I haven't fully committed to that yet either. And I didn't paint the metal on his wrists either yet. Oh, dickhead. Never mind. Anyway, let's do some more red. And then I think I'll crack on with some skin in a minute, because, like I say, that's what people tune in for. Ork skin. And I'll show you my formula. I don't know if I'll manage it as quick as I did on Steve-O's channel. That was lightning speed that I got that one done. I think that's the fastest I've ever painted an orc. An orky commune for bachelors. That'd miss out all the guys that are taken. I mean, I think about half the community are taken. Orc lads aren't your typical 40kers, you know. There's more. Oh, there's more chads. Shall we? Is that the right word? There's more. There's more of your normal geezers in amongst your orc players, or your guys that just do better in life. Not so sure, but you don't get the same. You don't get the same sort of players that you get in Space Marine communities, and you know, Eldar players are a certain type, Necron players are a certain type. You know, Orc players, they tend to be people that are for the most part, Orc players tend to be people that are sort of quite mentally stable, which is why they play the mentally unstable race in a sense. They tend to be people that have got their lives together a little bit, or at least have their mentality together a little bit. A lot more grounded, which is why they're okay with playing a race that doesn't win very often, the fall guy. Okay, right, I think I might actually take the red right back to the whole rest of it, actually. I think I might, because there's a few bits of metal and stuff to pick out, details and stuff on it anyway, so I might as well. I mean, it's going to need a couple of coats of this red anyway, because it looks a bit sort of, well, it's not fully coloured, is it? Let's just use it while we've got it. Don't like wasting paint. I've just recently joined a local community group for litter collecting, actually, as it goes, because I got so fed up with, like, every time I'm walking around here local, there's just so much litter. It's ridiculous. And I thought, what the hell is the council not doing anything? So where I'd recently rejoined Facebook, and I joined some local groups regarding letting people know about my business, because I'm a gas heating engineer, for anyone that doesn't know. So I was just wanting to sort of let people in the local community know that there's an engineer in their locale. And anyway, I just thought, I wonder if any of them care about the situation regarding the litter, because there's so much litter around here. So I thought, well, I'll post about it. So I posted some pictures of the litter that I'd seen around here, just some of the worst bits. And someone said, oh yeah, there's a litter group, and they sort of added me into it. And they're not council funded, they're funded by local businesses, and they get their bags, and they've got stickers that they put on the bags once they've collected it. But I think they provide you with a picky stick and the bags and the stickers, and then you can go ape, which, if they leave me plenty of them, I'll go ape, because I mean, every night I tend to take a bag half filled of rubbish over to one of the skips, and along the way I can fill that bag every single night. Because there's so much just floating about in the bushes and in the hedgerows. So yeah, I thought I'd get involved. It might be a nice way to meet some other sort of people that give a shit as well. I'm sorry if you guys can't see what I'm doing now. Maybe I should lower this camper. There we go. That'd be better. Oh, I say that. Now it's difficult for me. Okay, well, the handle's not going to be that same red. Runt herd of a litter picker. Right. I just don't want to touch that brown bit. I'll turn it that way. I don't want to touch that brown bit, because that's going to be leather or rope, whatever you want to say. So the Zenithal brown will aid that. I won't have to do anything if I don't touch it with the red. Touch it with the red, that's gone out the window. Right, cool. That'll do for now with the red. I do think the claw's going to want some. Is anyone pushing me to get on with the skin, or can I do a bit on this claw? I think I might do a bit on this claw. Wow, I've got the red there. Right, fuck it. It won't take long. I don't know why I'm using such a small brush. I genuinely, I am a believer in the bigger brush, and it takes years for you to sort of realise that bigger brushes are actually pretty good. Because from an early age, I think we all do it. You go, oh, they're so detailed, and you get yourself a really small detailed brush because you think that it's going to make you a better painter, but it doesn't, in my opinion. I will add as a caveat. But no, I think you are so much better off a lot of the time with a sort of a size 1 or 2 with a decent point on it, to do a lot of your painting, and then just go into your detail painting with a smaller brush. But I don't want to keep switching up brushes with you guys, so I'm just sticking with this fairly okay-ish brush. Let's do the underside of that little motor. Side. That's space in there as well. Right. The pistons won't be red. I'll do there's 3 dags on here, so one of them's going to be red. So might as well get that now. Red, yellow, green. Which one's going to be the red one? It's going to be the red one. It's going to be this one. Cool. Now, I have also got to think about where I'm going to put some of my yellow and green as well, because he is part of the tribe, obviously, after all. It's just these guys focus a little bit more on the red because they're speedy. That middle bit might be red as well, in between the pistons. Right, I am so not chatty, am I? Sorry, guys. It's the focusing. It's alright if Steve-O was here throwing questions at me and I could distract him with plenty. I do actually really like painting with friends. I've only done it a few times, but every time I've done it, I've found it really productive and I really enjoy it. I know some people find it hard to concentrate, but I always used to, as a kid, I used to shut myself away from everybody else and not want to do stuff around other people. Partly because of lacking confidence and thinking people might question my methods and stuff, or go, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing it that way?" And partly because I just thought that I was always someone that worked better on my own and got things done better on my own. But actually, it's really nice just to sit and chill and paint with others, and it stops you from sort of lingering and doing nothing for too long, because you realise that you're doing that, and you realise other people realise you're doing that, so you don't linger so much. I think I might make that thing down there red yeah, I'm going to make that thing down there red as well. Oh shit. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright. I slipped, but it's not too bad. Yeah, that's looking more altogether red now. So it looks like an actual thing rather than too much of a conglomerate of bits. Let's get some red down there as well. Let's finish it around the edge there, like so. That bit there as well. That sand colour's really lent to a highlight on that red quite nicely. So I find that brown, and I've said it for a long while now, so actually I will give the credit to Vince Ventrella though, because I'd basically on one of his videos I'd sort of commented and he was talking about Zenithal highlight, and I thought, well, I'm doing orcs and I want them to have a warmth to them with their skin. So I said, what would you recommend in order to have a sort of a warm? I'm really sorry, guys, that the lighting is not brilliant. I might actually try and aid it a little bit with something in a second. But he said, yeah, if you Zenithal up from brown, then it will give warmth to your greens. It will look like there's some, like there's warm-blooded something underneath it rather than cold-blooded, because greens can either go cold or warm. Warmer with yellow, obviously, by the way, and colder with white. I don't add any white to my greens, not my greens that I use for skin. But if I'm using green on metal, as if it's been painted by the orcs or something, then I'd use cold greens. But as it goes, the greens that I use as my triple green, my red, gold, and green, are actually quite warm greens. It's these two. They're P3. We have Ionan green and Necrotite green. I love these two greens, although they are quite thick. There's a whole skill to using P3 paints. You have to kind of get used to them a little bit. But they are great. And those colours are really hard to come by anywhere else in such highly pigmented paint. So yeah, I do love those, and I will be replacing them as soon as they run out, or as soon as they get close to running out. But yeah, we're talking about skin. Let me just show you an example. And actually, I'll just get a little light and see if I can improve our light situation there, where you guys can see a little better. Does that help at all? A little. A little. Right, let me get this guy. Now, I've just recently had this guy break off his base, so that's why he's out at the moment. But warm skin. God, this lighting's terrible. But yeah, he's got some of the browns sort of showing through in places-ish. So it just adds a little bit of warmth. I haven't finished him either. I'm terrible. I never finish things. Like his gun is still not finished. And his eyes. And a few other little things. But yeah, he's coming along. He was glued to a base, but he broke off it the other day because I'm such a git. But that's where we're going with the skin. So I think we'll move on to that now, actually. Oh, Steve Rose here. Oi, oi, sorry I'm late. God, typical. These war bosses, they don't. I mean, it's not me that's usually, the reason for these shows starting late. See, I'm the punctual one. I'm always there waiting, going, come on, guys. Right, so let's forget about the red for now because we've got a coat on a few places. So I think he's got enough of the red going on. Oh, actually, we didn't do the trilogy on the gun, did we? Worried about the one on the claw. I do love that so many times you get 3 dags. So there's 3 dags on the back of that claw. So I'll get my red, gold, and green on there, and there's 3 on that magazine. So I'll get a way of doing it there as well. It's awesome. There's a bit much of that. Right. Yeah, that Ferrari red is awesome. Such a good colour. Nice. We'll touch that up again. Right, so skin. Let's talk about skin. Okay, so the green. Oh, hello. Damn it. There we are. Let's try and knock over everybody and kill everybody. Okay. These are my 2 colours. These and to a small degree. Well, actually, those and that, obviously, to a large degree, and then to a much smaller degree, some others, which I'll explain. So, basically, undertones or low lights underneath in the shadows, we go for the green yellow. On the higher bits, we go for the middle stone, which is this is the colour. This is the one that I was like, okay, well, this is the orc skin colour. This is it for me. Is that middle stone green. I love it. And so many of the places that do model colour have loads of the rest of the range and don't ever seem to have that one. Really annoying. I've always asked for it. So when I found it, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Why hadn't I found that one before? It's because most places don't have it. So those 2. And then a wash with the Plague Bearer flesh. Then I will go in with sort of a highlighted green. Now I've got these 3 that I sort of skip between. So I got this one while I was out with Steve-O. It is the brightest of those, but it's the worst in consistency, in sort of paint quality, and I'm still of the mind that Army Painter is a low grade paint range in my opinion, and always has been. And nothing they've done so far has convinced me otherwise. I have bought some stuff and I've gone, yeah, still very sort of lower mid-range. This is no exception, and I will shake it profusely in a little while and you will see what I mean, because it doesn't matter how many times I seem to have used it, it's just always very separated and it's not a good paint. But it's bright, so I can use it for some edging. The other 2 are golden olive model colour, so it sort of goes with those quite well, to be fair. And the other one, scale colour Sherwood green. That's another nice one. I like this one with grots. And then, like I say, there is one more, which is Beltane green, which I literally, when I'm washing the skin, I usually will just go, like, if I'm putting it into a little dish, because when you're washing, it's much easier to put it into the sort of palette that's got the little dips in it, traditional sort of palette, I might put, if I put 10 drips or 10 drips off of a paintbrush of that, I put one of that. Very small amount of Beltan to the Plague Bearer, but it does add a little something, you know. Or I might leave it till after I've just done it with that, and later on, if I don't feel like it's bright enough, I'll get this and I'll water it right down, and I'll just go over in a few places, because it just adds a little bit that I think I call Beltan in my own head. It's like the add cartoony. So I don't really want my stuff too cartoony, but it does add a little certain something that, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, less waffle, more painting. Let's get this combo down. Right, so we'll turn that round because we don't want to get that red on your sleeve. At least try not to. Also, do we really want to use that brush? No, I want a slightly bigger brush. Hold on, boys and gits, while I decide on a decent enough brush. Pro Art Renaissance. Yeah, that one will do. So new brush that we're using is this company. You find them in art shops a lot. Pro Art or Pro Art. They're really good. Really, really do rate them. Really are good, but they are not cheap. I mean, that was like £7 nearly, £6.70 for one brush, but they are really good. I've had a few of their different styles of brushes, and I find them to be really good, and they do clean up really well. So they hold a point well. Whereas a GW brush, and I have still got some that are new enough, in that they've still got their pointy things, their cap protectors, and I only use these protector things all the while. A paintbrush is keeping its tip. Once it stops keeping its tip, I stop really bothering. But as you can see, they're already starting to lose it. GW brushes are like that. They'll last for ages as a mediocre brush, but they'll never be like when you bring them home for more than that first hour. Whereas something like this actually will go back to that point plenty of times. Right, let's get some of this down. Right, that's a bit much. Oops. What are you, rich? You bloody rich? Oh, that's a bit much as well. Funny angle that I'm working from, that's why. Right. Okay, let's get some water. Okay. Okay, rock and roll. My brush is needing moisture. Right, let's go on the undersides. Well, that's coming up quite a lot lighter than usual. That's because it's quite thick. Right, I need to thin that down a bit. Now, this is almost wet blending because I'm going to chuck it on and I'm just going to go into that next tone. In a second. Move that around a bit onto that arm. Splashed on the jacket. There you go. Told you. There's one of those emergency situations. Right, where is it? There. Oh, shit. I got more of it on there. Nah. Right, different brush. Quickly. Emerge. Oh, there's that grey one. That was perfect, actually, earlier on. There are. Magic. Rescued. No more green residing on the jacket. Cool. And go back to caring about the green. It's always good to have some emergency brushes for that sort of shit. Right. Now, this is well hard to do on camera. Right, so that's still going to be the dark back there. Then we're going to the lighter one. over the top, up here. I ain't got to be too fussy, see. I always used to be so fussy about painting, and now I've realised that you just be less fussy. You can touch up later. You can make it pop later. Okay, right, so now that's going to blend into that other green a little bit. When we come back and do it again, we'll tidy it up a bit. Now that does look well light, I know, I'll grant you that, but don't forget we're going over it with Plague Bearer Flesh. Often I keep some of the, like, if someone's got really deep muscles, like this guy's got rather smooth muscles, I would say. If someone's got really deep muscles, then I will leave the brown in the gaps and I will paint this much less wet and much more just onto individual muscles and leave the brown right in the gaps, because it does add a little something, but it won't have that effect on this, I know from experience, so there's no point. I know how I'm going to make this stand out a little bit more. I knew that my Zenithal attempts with a spray can were not going to yield me the usual results, so now getting up under there whilst having the phone in the way is hard. Like I say though, that green doesn't have to go everywhere, because I have used that brown. It's okay for the brown to just remain in some spots anyway. Just going to take that, still using that darker green, get under there. Right, now into the lighter one. Right, sorry chat, I did miss a few bits there. They only pop up very, very brief. But when someone else says something new, yours and the previous person's pops up, so it does give me a chance. Ah, Scar's in. And a mate. Right. Now you probably can't see the transition between the two greens there, really, but it's there. Yeah. Right, okay. Now, with that face, let's get some of that darker green. I'll tell you what, that's going to be a challenge with thick brush and... Cheers, Steve-O. And Nirvana's here as well. Deep muscles, brown in the gaps. Well, I wasn't even thinking about people like you joining, Nev. I wasn't thinking of what I was saying. I have to watch what I say now. I don't want to get you too excited. I am wondering whether I should size down with the brush before. Fuck it. I'll be fine. Do you know what? We'll be fine. Let's go for that darker green then. So let's get some of that in there. Alright, let's not fuck it up. Oh, so far we're not fucking it up. That is. Now that's going to be... Don't worry about getting it in the eye sockets, because I'm going to go in there later on with a dab of white and then some yellow contrast or whatever. Pick out the eye. Well, there's a shirt. Oh no, the shirt thing's there. So okay, there is a bit of neck. Definitely probably want a thinner brush for that. Yeah, there's not many places else I'm going to get with that one, is there? His chin's going to be a challenge. I shouldn't have stuck that jaw plate on. Ah, well. Okay, we'll get under that here. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got some fingers. Actually, fingerless gloves, where do they finish? There. You know what? Just go with that green and then we'll touch it up later with the other one. It's fine. It's fine. See, I do try to use, you know, a go in between a light and a dark, but sometimes it's not so necessary because the Zenithal sort of does a lot of it for you, and if you're not going too heavy, although I say that, I mean I have gone fairly heavy. That's the first coat and it's fairly thick in places. Well, what you can't see is there is water on that palette too, although it's drying out a little. There you go. As long as you keep the brush moist. That's my argument. Right. So fingers. Oh shit, that is moist. That's sploshed up there. Oh geez, I'm giving Nav a right good time now, and I don't even realise what I'm saying half the time. That's my trouble. It's not to sort of like single you out as if you're some pervy unk or something. No, sorry. Don't get him started now. You know what he's like. Right. Yeah, right. I'll let him dry for a second because otherwise I'll do what I always do and go and stitch it up and ruin it. Let's have another look at this dude then. Right. Okie dokie. Well, we can get some rope wash on the rope. It's actually already zenithal. I am wondering if I can just get away with just putting a contrast brown over it. I'll do that. If it looks good, I'll leave it at that. It probably won't, so I'll end up highlighting it again and da 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 da. But let's give it a go. Now we can go for Gorgon, Dark Oath, Snakebite, Skeleton Horde. That's going to be too light, isn't it? That's not going to show. Or the Argos Dunes. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to. Nah. What's the next sort of closest to that? It's probably the Snakebite, isn't it? Let's give the Snakebite a go. I do find that Snakebite leather. Oh, actually. Let's compare it on the palette to that. I do find the Snakebite leather, the contrast is quite dark. It's a lovely colour, it's just quite dark. I think this speed paint from Army Painter, hardened leather, I think might also be a bit dark. Let's just have a little look. Oh, yeah. It's a bit of a... Yeah, it's quite dark. It has a red tinge to it. I'm not particularly looking for a red tinge. I'm looking for more of a yellow tinge. Tell you what though, now I've got it on the palette, I don't feel like opening the Snakebite leather. I will mix a little bit of the yellowy one, the Argos Dunes, into that. Hopefully I'll have something that I feel kind of like using. See, that's much more, you can't really see, can you? It is much more yellowy and that one's much more red. Let's try and get the camera to focus on that spot. More red, more yellow. Mix them together. Hopefully I'll have something that I kind of want to put on that bit of rope. That's still quite red. Well, I'm not going to dip my brush back in there now. That'll do. We'll see what we think of that. Right, onto the leather. Oh yeah, pretty cool. Oh shit, oh, that's right, it's metal. In fact, what do I care if I splash it all over the metal? None. So I can just go at it. Because brown stain on metal, oh, it's going to ruin it, isn't it? Not when it's Orks. Just add something. Right. I think that higher area probably want a second go. Right, and then all I do is I'll wet my brush, take off the excess water, and then I'll just go in there on the metal bits where the brown came in and just swizzle it around so it's not concentrated where that rope is, so it doesn't look like it was a splash over, it's just part of the staining. Cool. Right, so there's quite a bit of that yellowing on there, isn't there? It's cool that the camera picks it up because you can't see that in real life. Okay, that's settle on there. Right, the other thing I want to do was the tyres on that, so I might as well crack on with that as well. I can use that big brush. Don't want my green to dry out. Don't want to forget about that. But I think that size brush would be pretty decent. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so tyres. I've got 2 tyre products. Whereas they are. I've got 2 here. So I've got an AK one, which is rubber tyres, and I have MIG rubber and tyres. Now these are actually, so I was only saying to Scar before that ammo and AK seem to do a lot of very similar products. These are not 2 of them because they're entirely different sort of tyre products. They don't look it actually from the bottom, they look very similar, but they're really not. So this one is just basically a really nice tyre grey, but it's quite light, so it's sort of the last highlight for your tyres, I would say. Whereas this is like almost like a tyre wash. So I've already basically, just to see what would happen over the brown, I've already used that tyre. Well, in fact, I think I've touched it with both, to be fair. So what I'm going to do this time round is just make up a grey that's darker than this tyre grey, a darker grey, and go in and just sort of wish it about. It only needs to be thin because they're already sort of getting darker, and then I can go in with my tile wash and then the highlight with the lighter one. So that's the plan there. So let me get some other grey. Again, it's an army painter one because I've got this. Oh, got the black and the grey together when I was with Steve-O last. Just thought I'd give them a try because, you know, like I say, I'm happy to be proven wrong about army painter, but I'm still waiting to be. Right, we'll add a little bit of black in there too because that is too light. Do tiny splodge of black. Right. Some water. Yeah, just a tiny tad darker than that. Ah, shit. Of course my brush would do that. Cool, like that. Could do with a point on the brush though. I've got too much paint on there, and I basically at the end of the day I've got to rinse it off. Now these tyres that we have for Orks are awesome. Do love them. They do look really cool, but my god, they're a bitch to paint. Really are. Yeah, just add a bit of that in there. Yeah, I do be adding gloss varnish to eyes and to some metals. Blades more so than anything else. I think metal that you have on a gun and armor and stuff will go grimy and it won't be kept sharp, so it won't be shiny, whereas knives and blades I tend to and make them a shinier metal, you know. Also barrels of guns, I do like to have a sort of a good contrast of sort of darker to lighter, and I mean I've only done 2 tones on that so far. I'll be going up to sort of 4 or 5, so but I do like to do that with gun barrels because you know, it just looks nice. Same with the exhaust, you know, similar sort of thing that was going on there, but that's still, like I say, 2 tones at the moment. It's got a little way to go. Brush needs a point. Okay, there we go. Lick it. Acrylic paint. All natural. Don't quote me on that. Tell you what is going to be a bastard. Getting under there. And under there. You're getting some paint in there. Fun. And you know you're going to want to do it because someone will see it. That person will be me. I'll be the one that cares anyway. How's that skin coming on? Is that drying off? It's drying off. It's starting to dry off anyway. Beep beep beep. I've got to pick out one of them studs on that jacket as well. That's going to be a bit of fun. So I don't know. Are we thinking that's enough red on him, or do we need some more red? That he's wearing that shirt. Like I say, I'm not sure what colour. Let's get some votes in on colour for the shirt. Should we go green, yellow, bone white? I've never done a white shirt on any of these guys so far. It's because I figure it'd be so filthy by my guys that it wouldn't really be white anymore anyway. Yes. Anyway, I think we'll add some of the other colours to him in a little while. Let's get some more grey on here while we've got it. We are all our own worst critics. That is very, very, very true. It does, but your own self, you can hold yourself back unfairly for much too long. So just get on with it. I've had to shout that at myself internally a lot because for many, many, many years I've collected a lot of really nice Ork bits. My bits boxes are hugely vast and they've got lots of nice rare bits in them and lots of third-party bits all mixed in. And I was saving all the best bits a lot of the time, and I was always just using the bits I've got doubles of. Only use the bits you've got doubles of. Only use the bits that you don't mind sort of ruining. And then I'd spend hours on a scratch crash kit bash, and I'd think, well, Jesus, the amount of time I put into this and the amount of time I'm going to put into painting it, I might as well have used some of my good stuff. So I have just lately started going, right, okay, let's chuck some of the good stuff in the mix. Let's attack the good bits. So you got to do it. You just got to go, well, you're never going to, like, if you want the perfect force, then start with something else and make all your mistakes with that, and then move on to the thing that you want to do perfect. Otherwise, just crack on with the thing you're doing and enjoy it and try and make it as good as you can and be happy with what you achieve. That's what you've got to basically accept. You'll always be able to do better. That's part of what is beautiful about being human. So you can always find room for improvement on what you've achieved. See, this longer brush, although it's not really keeping a point at the moment, is really so it's disproving my point about this particular brush, bastard. Better is to get down the back of here. It's actually not too bad. I reckon I'll be able to get at least the top edges of this. Yeah. Slide that down there. Get the top edges of the tyre, not too bad. I've also, boys and gits, got myself a game booked with none other than the legend himself. And I'm not talking about Steve-O, talking about Nick Beer. So I'll be on the Necrons and More channel. Nick Beer, Necrons and More. Be on there and facing him off with a 1500 point list that I've had a game against Steve-O and Essex boys, and I'm quite liking the list. I'm enjoying using it. I've no experience at all of playing Necrons. None. I've never played Necrons before, ever. So Steve-O's told me, just focus on one thing at a time, kill it dead. Which is probably good advice. I wouldn't know what units they have that are good or which ones are the ones to focus on first or what. I'll have to do a little bit more research. But then the 2000 point game I've got will be against the World Eaters, and that's with an old friend of mine. But I will be recording that battle, so you guys will be able to join in. So, right, let's have a look. That tyre versus that tyre. That one I didn't do. That one I did do. It's just looking a little bit more consistent. It's thin layers after all over that Zenith also. It's still showing kind of some of the brown through even. So the idea behind this squig was actually not mine. It's been done a million times before, but the original one that I saw was back on the Waaagh forum. I think it was. I don't want to misquote it now. Who was it now? Basically, this dude on the Waaagh forum had made a mob of truck boys that I basically themed mine off. I haven't actually like copied any of the poses or anything like that. I just the overall theme of the lads being not of any particular clan, but you know, using a lot of red, having chain type weapons, so speedy sort of weapons, you know, like noisy chain weapons. Sorry, I just heard someone directly outside my camper van then. I thought they were addressing me. And having like chains wrapped over them. So this guy actually works perfectly well to fit in with him. He's got chains wrapped around his wrist and he's got this chain around his neck. So yeah, he fits in perfectly well with them. But a lot of them I've added my own chains, jewelry chain, stuff like that too. and used running legs, a lot of running legs as well. If you want to see those truck boys in action, you will be able to very shortly, because they do feature in my 1500 point list that I played, like I say, Steve-O and Essex, and they've both got battle reports that you'll be able to see on the Warboss channel before long. You'll be able to see those truck boys in action. To my eternal shame, I still haven't 100% finished them. They're mostly finished, just not totally finished. And it's mostly my fault because I keep bloody dropping things and breaking them. But no, I hadn't entirely finished their paint job anyway, but I do keep adding to the workload. I keep dropping and breaking things, which is very easy to do in a place like this. As you can probably tell by the camera wobble, which I'm really sorry about, guys, but this table that we're working from has got one pole right through the middle here, and so it wobbles a lot. It's really quite frustrating. Right, I'm bored of this grey now. I really am bored of this grey now, and I'm sorry if you are too. But I do want to just use it up around this wheel where I can see, so that we don't have to mix up that same colour again. I'm not so worried about the inside of the wheel because I can do that a slightly darker grey later on and it won't matter because it's on the inside, and it makes sense that it's slightly darker, so it won't matter if I don't mix up the exact same. See? So the other bosses have some are a lot further ahead, and some are a lot further behind. So I'm not the lagging one this time, which is nice. 6+ is actually getting on with his. He's actually getting there. I think the fall behind this time is none other than the usual Scar, and Dim, who actually did complete the last couple of times. So I am not going to be one that hasn't completed. I will this time. I'm sorry about last time. I've been moving around a lot. It's been difficult. I'd say I have. Yeah, I've got everywhere that I can basically get. There's a bit in there. Maybe I'll just touch that if I can. That can be, yeah, doable. Right, let's put that down. Clean that brush, and let's go for that boss again. Oh no! Oh no! I'm pushing me bloody. That's right. Didn't touch it. At least I didn't drag that green everywhere. Right. Now then, let's have another look at that skin. So I will get that thinner brush and go in on that places that I missed last time. Need some more water down there though first. Dry down a bit quick. Right. Now then, let's have that darker one. I say darker, it's not all that darker. Let's get under that helmet there. Right, let's get around this neck, the bit that's been scaring me. You can tell I'm scared. I wasn't quiet. The neck goes all the way back up to the chain, and then the shirt's the other side of it. So the chain gives a border. Handy to a degree. Oh, he pulled it off. Didn't splash. Nice. Cool. Well, I've got to get down this side. not bad. Yes. Well, just under there. There we go. Right, up behind the ears. Let's try that chin then. Now we've got the Brave brush. Ooh, got some in there. So I'm going to get down the sides of there. I ain't got to worry too much because I'll tell you what, that plague bearer flesh is awesome stuff. It will get, like, before what I used to do was actually do the Zenithal and then put plague bearer flesh on and do like 2 washes of plague bearer flesh straight over the Zenithal and then just highlight that. And it looks very, very, very similar to what this does. It's just that I needed to find a paint that I could work from as a paint rather than something that is a glaze, because as much as glazing is awesome over Zenithal, if you then have a cock up where you say I've Zenithalled all of the skin and I've just gone on it with glazes and then you get metal on it, what are you going to do? You if you wash that around, you're going to get all glitter all over the rest of the skin. So you're going to try and lift off as much wet paint, and then you're just going to let that metal dry on there and paint over it with a bit of skin color. So you need a thick paint to do that, which you can thin down. But that's why I decided, right, I have to find a color that I can get the same effect as what I was getting before, but by building up a color. So that's how I come across these greens, basically. There's a need to sort of match what I was doing previously. Right, so now I've got this Brave brush, we can get the rest of these fingers as well, the bits that were hard to get. Oh my god, they're so hard with the camera in the way. Right, the glove comes off to there. Don't know if you can hear that creaking noise as well. That's the table. There it goes. Clong, clong. Had a good day today. Had a job for my business. When I did a service, or 3 services at one property, and each one of them as a lead to another job because each one of them needed something. So I'll be going back and earning more money out of it. Squig Hound is done. It's not done. It's a long way from done. It's getting there. Done. Right. So I had that. So let's get the lighter colour. It's going a bit sticky there. Add a bit more moisture into it. Right. Yeah, that is quite wet. I just wanted to touch it on a top muscle just to see what it was like. Okay, it's quite wet. Okay, right, on that finger then. Top of that finger, up to the gun. Don't get it on the gun. Don't get it on the gun. There we go. Didn't get it on the gun. Again, apologies for the lighting, guys. It is you have the pleasure of free today fully charged lights that I went to great effort to charge, and great expense actually. I had to use quite a bit of my fuel out of the car to charge it as well. Just so I could have enough light to live stream. So I know it's not ideal. It's not the old lights that I usually would use, but they're high wattage and require a mains plug. Just there was an example of what I was just talking about actually, that the red from the helmet had touched onto the ear. So having a, like I say, a green that you can paint rather than just a glaze is necessary in those sort of situations. Otherwise you've got to be so ridiculously careful if you're just glazing everything. I can't be that careful. It's too much. It's too much stress. Oh, that is thick. Oh dear. Did not have enough moisture on that green. That's right. Add it on the miniature. Sorry if the focus is an issue. Well, I just keep flipping this bad boy about. Right. See, I'm excited to sort of get past this stage with the skins that I can chuck a wash on, and you can appreciate how cool it'll look straight after a wash of that. What do you call it? Plague Bearer flesh. It's such an epic paint. It really is. That's what I mean. Like GW paints, there's a lot I don't like, and there's a lot I do. And I might as well just stock up on that Plague Bearer flesh every time I go into the store, because one day it's going to change for the worse, and I won't be able to get the same effect from it again. Just like they changed Null Oil. It's so annoying. Just make a product. If it's half decent, people buy it. Don't ever change it. Just leave it alone. If you want to make something else, make a spin off of it, make it something else. Don't fucking change it. It's so annoying. They're not the only ones that are guilty of that. There's plenty that do it. Right. Now then, I think we might go for a bit of the yellow, which I think... well, I've only got a few places to put it, actually. Right, let's pick out them pouches anyway. They're going to be a different sort of brown to the rest of that. Oh, Jesus, I've got the hiccups. Yay. Right, let's use that Darko flesh. That one. Right, this is a more... oh, hello, I've still got them hiccups. It's a brown. Oh, why did he stop streaming? Because he got the major hiccups. Let's try not to make it a thing. Oh, yeah, that looks lovely. Oh, yeah, we like that. Okay, we need a bit more of it on the brush than that, though. Come on, Dread. Right, hopefully we can appreciate this together. Focus. Yeah, there we go. Oh, damn it, can't get the brush in the way, though. So, yeah. Definitely a different brown to the other brown. That's all I wanted, but it's a bit light still. I think a couple of washes of it might do the job. That's dark oak flesh, so yeah, I suppose it would be quite thin. But it's got a nice sort of reddish tone to it. Yeah, I like that. It is different to that which is on the jacket, which is all I was kind of looking for, is a better definition to pick out that they are indeed different. Yeah, we'll let that dry and we'll see what we think. Can always come over it with something else. Right, now then, might as well pick out some of them highlights on that knife just to show you what I'll do with that knife. So all I have done with that knife so far is across the top half of it is the chainmail silver. That one. Just that bottom triangle is the gunmetal silver. So what I'm going to do eventually, actually I'll darken that area up there in that recess there with a wash. I won't bother trying to blend. There's no point at this stage. What I will do is take the chainmail silver and the silver, and I'm going to run it down the lines of the knife, and then later down the very thinnest bits, just the silver. So let's have a little whirl at mixing those. I've just got to make sure I don't mix them, the paint brushes that I use for the metals, in the water as well. So I've got 2 pots of water for that very reason. Sorry, I'll clear my throat. Right, bit of that one. That's way too much. I'm so wasteful. Right. Okay. Now, brush that I don't mind blending them with. Old GW brush. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Separate water pot. Don't forget. Come here, bad boy. Right. Now, I haven't got to be too neat with this either, because, like I say, I'll pick it out later even more. Just got to be neat with that bit there. So I'm going to go on to the darker section. So I'm just going to trace like the lines like you would on a leaf, basically. And then the edge. That'll be as high as the highlight goes on that bottom edge, because it's the darker area. Probably the same applies on this bottom edge here. So if I run this down the edge of the blade here, this chainmail stroke silver will be the so see, little highlight on the edge there. That's as much as it needs to go with that one. And then I will go higher on these silver bits with a higher silver than that eventually. And then I will come in with a wash and darken some areas up. I do feel like there maybe should just bring something down there. Just very faintly. still... I'll tell you what. I know what will make that look better straight away. Let's just do it. Let's get a little bit of that darker one. The gunmetal. And a little bit of the chainmail silver. Which is there. Now then, let's just mix those together. Right. Let's see if we can't make this look better. I'm just painting a little triangle into the darker area, neatening up my line as I go. So, oh yeah, the camera shows it way better than I can see it with my own eyes. Jesus. So yeah, basically I just added a darker silver into those bits. So I might as well do it under there as well then. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of better. Cool. That's made me feel a little bit better about that anyway. That knife was bothering me. It was just looking odd with the sort of brown edges, so I just want to tidy that up quickly. While I've got those silvers down on the palette, I might as well get that chain sorted out as well, I don't know. So, use that mix that I just made, of the mix between the darker and the mid-tone, just to touch in on what I've already done, which is just the darker one. It's just got the darker one on the underside of the chain. I did that earlier. So let's pick that out. Right. Now we want to go up to the chainmail, which we don't actually have. I think we have got a little bit of it just on the edge of there. That's the chainmail. If I just, yeah, I'll convince myself that that is it. Now again, because I'm doing metal over brown, any bits I miss will just look like rust. Except for on the sandy bit. The sandy bit's a bit too yellowy for my liking to convince me look like rust. Well, that probably, you could be convinced, I suppose. That's all chain around there, I believe. It's hard to tell because I think a bit of super glue's got in it and it's ruined the detail on it, unfortunately. We'll chuck some wash in there. Pick out the details. Now, I won't use grimy dirty wash. I won't use what's it called? Motherfucker. I won't use the non-oil or the Agrax. What I'll probably use is soft body wash, which I don't have it to hand. I can't remember who makes it, but it's a much softer black wash that is quite nice for jewelry things. And then I'll maybe dry brush it with that high silver. That brush that I was using previously, there it is. Might as well actually, while we're at it, go in a bit shiny on this claw in a few places. I know I said I wasn't going to do that, but fuck It will rub off. I know it will. I'm going to lose out by doing this. I'm kind of, yeah, don't I like that? Cool thing with metals, though, I suppose, is if you don't like something, you can always just sort of blend it differently. You know, you can. I find them very easy to correct, metals, because you can always come in with washes and stab in a little bit of a lighter or a darker, and it doesn't. The blend lines between metals are much easier to hide than they are other colours. A lot of other colours, in my opinion. Still not decided what colour the skull will be, or the cross on the chain. I think if the chain is silver, which I'll paint later, it's high detail. The cross might actually be bronze. I haven't got much bronze on there. Well, they have pre-painted, although you can't really tell, the stick bottom with that same decayed metal from Scale Colour. Definitely one of my top 10s. I also did that on the skulls on the shin guards. That's that decayed metal. In actual fact, because I've already done that, let's just touch it up just quickly, and then I'll highlight that with the Victorian brass, and I'll show you how cool that looks. So let's just get that decayed metal, because there's a couple of bits to touch up. Quick shake. A little bit there. I need a tiny bit. That's it. That's fine. Right. Because while we're doing other things, that can quickly, very, very quickly dry. Right. There. There. Oh, that didn't taste nice. Right. That one. Okay, so we wanted to just touch up in there, really. That one's fine. Make sure the teeth got it. Right, cool. Just give that a moment to dry with that decayed metal, and then I'll go over it with the Victorian brass, which will look awesome. Where is it? It is that it? Victorian brass, yeah. Also scale car, Victorian brass. Oh, that's not the open one. Balls. Okay, bear with me. It's going to be in there. Yep. Is that it? There it is. I have another. I quite often buy duplicates of paints that I like. Let's clean that top of that lid off a bit. There we go. Right. Now, I need a brush to dry brush. A dry brushing brush. Let's attack the brush box. The brush pot, even, shall we say. Some of these aren't actual dry brushing brushes. For this particular task, think one of those spongy things would be awesome, actually. Can choose one of those. Yeah. Oh shit! Don't push it. Sorry. Hope you're not watching, Mum. Keep swearing. Right. Dry brushing with a sponge. Well, it's not a sponge, is it? Well, it is. Kind of. Sponge pad. No. Don't like that. What will I use then? I will use. Is it a metallic? It is a metallic. Can't use that brush. That's too nice. Right. Finding a brush you don't care about. Always end up falling on a GW one for that. Sorry. Just basically where the light would fall. Well, in fact, that would be the final highlight more so than this one. But yeah, those knee things are going to look cool. And that darker metal around them is going to be highlighted up yet. Just want to go something quite dark looking. So it has an element of menace. An element of menace. Oh, there's another chain round here that I need to. Oh no, Dread. You did splash onto the fucking leather, didn't you? Look. Oh. That was you lot making me paint the knife. I think, possibly. I'm going to blame you lot. Dang it. It's alright. We'll fix that later. I'll tell you what, that is actually that same brassy mix on that arm plate. Might as well get some on there. Don't want it on your skin. Oh, I missed an area of skin. That's skin all through there. Cool. I love missing bits. It's funny how that happens. You just don't even realise half the time. So yeah, that's skin in there. So from there, ugh, that needs water. That needs water. That hasn't got shit floating around in it. Let's water that down a bit. Where was we? There. No, it's still too thick. Just add some water to it. There you go. Now I've lost the point on the brush. Ball ache. Yum. Right, let's move around what we've got. Right. I think this has got to be the least I think I've ever talked on a stream ever. It's because I'm painting. And because I'm avoiding political topics. Don't do it, Dread! No, I won't, don't worry. Looking good. Yeah. Cool. Coming along. The skin's not quite there that I can go throwing the wash on and show you guys how cool that will, but it will tie it up together. Might do that bit of rope on that thing because that's starting to bug me now that I want that done. Oh no, I didn't do that because I was going to highlight the cartridge first. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. There are some reasons for some of the things that you have decided to do. Right, what other decisions have we? Well, I might as well just do that little bit of yellow and that little bit of green. And then I think we're 1:42. Okay, well, I'm going to call it at 2 hours, so we'll roll for another 18 minutes, say. So, let's go for something that is a GW colour. My yellow tends to mostly just be these two, although I do quite often highlight with that. Fantasy in games. Marduk yellow, because it's sort of a nice succession on. See? And I have just lately been experimenting with that, but contrasts are really hit and miss. They've all got uses, and you have to find them. And like I say, once you find them, then you go and fucking change them. Right, I only want the dearest little bit of this because I don't. Because we're only using it in a couple of places at this moment in time. Where is the brush gone that I was enjoying using? There it is. Bop, 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 bom, 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 bom. My brush is all bloody wet. Yeah, when the water's all like up there, you don't realise, and you've got focus. You've got just the right amount of moisture up this end, but you've got a load of water sitting here somewhere, and when you go to paint, it runs down, and it goes, fucks everything up. Isn't that annoying? Yes, Dread. That is annoying. We know exactly what you're talking about. But everyone does know what I'm talking about, though. We've all experienced it. Right. Now I'm happy with my brush. Don't touch it. Don't fuck it up. Don't. Right. That is way thinner than it looks, by the way. I know that looked like, whoa, there you put that on thick. No, it's really thin. It's just really wet, so I'm not touching it. Although that isn't perfectly touching all the edges of everywhere it should be. I'm just going to leave that alone because it's very wet and it'll run otherwise and it'll make a fucking mess. So we'll come back to it once it's dried. Just literally dragging that wet down. There. God damn you, focus. There you go. So a little bit of red, yellow, green going on. Red, yellow, green going on. So we know who he belongs to. I don't think I need to do it anywhere else, really. I think just having it on the claw and the gun is enough. Don't want to oversell the tribe too much. He's a bit of a beast himself. He might be a bit more about himself than he is about Captain Crump. So he will crack. Oh, I'll tell you what, might as well get that green on as well, haven't we? Start with the darker of the two. It's the Ionan green. Now, like I said, these P3 paints are lovely, but they are very thick. Great pigments. Definitely going to want to thin it a little. a bit more than that. I only need a top. Tiny little bit. So, dab of water. Yeah, that's enough. Right, clean my brush. That is just the right amount of paint, not being wasteful at all. And then I will highlight that later with necrotite green. But this Ionian green is actually nice on its own, to be fair. It's nice. Right, so. Oop, that came on a bit heavy. Like a glove. Ta-da! He's got such sensitive strokes. Now, I will, when I pick out those, strap off those glasses. Beep, 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 beep. That red started to pretty much be dry. I could go on another red spree. How long we got? We ain't got long. I think we will not do that then. Well, I've got green. Anywhere else I want green? Do you know what? Yes, let's make the tube green. Or shall we? No. What colour should that tube in his power claw be, guys? Anybody? I mean, it's already got a sort of zenithal to it, so if I use... Do you know what? Fuck it. Let's have another experiment. Pink. Not happening. Let's have another experiment with this stuff, because, you know, I was saying how I don't really rate it. We'll see what happens, because it's got its perfect environment to thrive here, because it's over a zenithal brown up to a cream. So if it can't make the most of that, then it's shit. It's gonna be pretty bright though, isn't it? Don't want it to be red, because I've already got enough red going on. What other contrast colours do I have? They're all browns. So bad. Just like brown. I've got 7 or 8 different fucking browns. A yellow and a red. I've also got a purple. Not doing it purple. Fuck it. I'm just going to go with the yellow. If I don't like the yellow, I'll paint it green. Oh, thank you, Keith. Yeah, I mean, I have made some progress, I suppose. But that's the point of doing a stream, I suppose. I was just like, look, I've got to fucking do this, dude. I've got to get on with it. And sort of doing it live to you guys whilst pretending that I've lost my voice has actually made it happen a lot quicker than it would have done otherwise, I think. So sorry if you didn't enjoy the stream, but it's been useful for me in that it's got me to do a little bit more than I would have done otherwise. Right. Let's have this brush that's already got a bit yellow. Fuck it. Let's go with the contrast yellow then. Let's see what happens. Is it a good product? Is it not? I think I've got too much on the brush. Yeah, I've got way loads on the brush. tell you what, it'd be a piss bad product if it goes all over the place. It spills all over my leather jacket, I won't be happy. Oh, fuck me. That's going to be well hard to... do you know what? I'll use the other brush. Come here, you. Oh, that was close. Almost went straight into that. That's not the one. It's that one. Well done, Dread. Well done. Good call. Didn't... God, I can't see. There's no light. You guys can't see where I'm trying to poke, but it's better than I can see it at this moment in time than you. You can see it after I've done it, and it should be all right. You can't see under that arm bit anyway, but yeah, I'm getting under there to that tube there. I'm trying to. Right, you could be convinced that has been done. Ugh. And of course, at that very moment in time, he did what he didn't want to do. Got it on the fegging leather jacket. Ugh, come on. Operation. Tell you what, that camera see it better than my own eyes. Bit yellowy, but it's not too bad. Yeah, so I don't know what I think of the effect of that. Do for now. I might change my mind. I probably will change my mind on it. Right, I should get some stuff going on with the teeth and the mouth, I suppose. Mind you, I'm running out of time now. I'll do that. That's a bit more high detail anyway. I need to get my face in there and actually see what I'm doing. I think that green though is fuck it, yeah. Let's just for entertainment purpose haze get some. I'm probably jumping the gun a little. I could probably do with a little bit more of a thin layer of some other stuff, but hey ho, nothing like just fucking having fun when you're painting a Warboss of all things. Let's get some paper airflash. Oh, look how full that is. It's a good job I fucking didn't open that up in a hurry or in any sort of silly kind of way. As I've obviously topped that up with leftovers of another one. Oh, stop sucking the paintbrush. Ugh, that was not a nice flavour. That's contrast, isn't it? That's why. Ugh, contrast is awful. It tastes like vinegar. Ugh. Right. Actually, already thinking to myself, this does need the touch of Beltan. This would be one of those examples of, yeah, bit of Beltan in that. Needed. That's all right. I can add the Beltan after. Yeah. Not really picked up too much. So. I need to get in on that neck again with some more green, to be fair, but I'll chuck some of that on there now anyway, because why not? Balls. Put on the jacket. And I'll get it on the bloody jacket. Everything's going on the jacket. Yeah, it's kind of coming along. It's getting there. Shiny skin at the minute. Needs a lot more work, but it's coming along. It's coming along, and I need to have it done by the weekend. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be working on it, and then Sunday, and then I've got to photograph it and submit it along with this pet squig. So yeah, still got a little bit of a way to go, but I think that'll do us for tonight, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching me paint and speaking very little. It makes a change. Yeah, there you go. See him again soon. Don't forget to drop Dread a vote when it comes to it. Clearly your favourite. I mean, no point in even looking at what the others have made, to be fair, is it? Not even worth it. They've created some wicked things as well, those that have done it so far. Something a bit special coming from the Essex boys. But obviously don't be wowed by size. Size isn't everything, not quantity isn't everything. Quality is also a thing. Oh, shit. And my model won't have any of that, because all I'm going to do is end up dropping it in wet paint and fucking it up, because I'm great like that. Right. Safe. Right. See you guys. Can I flip it? Can I flip it? Wish I hadn't. Oh, blimey. On that note, that ugly note, see you boys later. I don't know how to even end it, so I'll say all of those things.